Hello, this is me, the Hub Critic back in, and this time we're doing, you've guessed it, Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Episode 7. Came out about, I'm going to say 2.5 weeks ago, I believe. It came out 18th of December, it's currently 2nd of January, so it's been a long, in relativity to when it came out, movies these days, just the frequency that they come out, relatively long time ago, so I'm up here to do a review of it. It's set in. The reason I just decided to wait was, just to let it set in, guys. Also, yourself, needed to, think over my review here and just talk about it. This is going to be an instant review. It's not going to be comprehensive like some of the other reviews I've done in the past. You can go check out my other Red Dwarf review, which I did, which was pretty comprehensive, I must say. 22-minute long epilogue is something to behold. When you come onto my channel and you see that, well, you're in for a ride. But this one is just going to be a short little review here, and I'm just going to put it up here. Talk instantly reactions about this. I know I've seen it a while ago. I saw it twice. I'm just going quick thoughts about this movie. So we basically follow a plot similar to that of Episode 4, A New Hope, and then a lot of you are familiar with this. I went in not really being familiar with the original trilogy. I mean, in fairness, I kind of know more about the prequel trilogy, which is a bad thing to say, but I guess I knew a lot about it. I was definitely exposed, like most people were, to the whole magic of Star Wars universe and everything about that. And, I was a fan, but I wasn't really a big fan. I wasn't crazy about everything to do with Star Wars, but as a kid you gotta sort of get in on that magic, and I did have my fair share of Star Wars toys and stuff like that. But going in and watching this, I was expecting a really exciting adventure, which I did in fact get. Directed by J.J. Abrams, this movie really felt what I was expecting J.J. Abrams' movie to feel. He did say he would focus on characters. I think that was the main sort of plot thing. That was the main sort of drive for him going into this movie. Directing a movie, he didn't feel like he wanted to make a standard action rip ride adventure. He wanted to go in there and just bring this extra dimension to it that I think that not a lot of directors can execute correctly. He definitely did a really good job with the characters. I'm just going to talk about them for a sec. So we got the main characters in this movie. Firstly, I think just go through a character list here. So we had Finn, who was played by John Boyega, I believe, a British actor. He was a really interesting character, a very charismatic character. It really shows through his through all the characters, but mainly through him, through his, intensity and his just degree of extenuations, how he just brought this extra degree of caringness to the character. He had a lot of sides to him. I do believe he got some good lines. I just felt sort of, what he got was given to a nice degree, but here's the thing. Even with I would say this kind of falls doubt to Adam Driver, who played Kylo Ren. I feel like those two characters were definitely pinned to be main characters, and I always felt that yes, they were given a lot of this time to develop and work alongside other characters, but I also felt like their plot lines were driven solely on just working with just the script they were given, and the script they were given, don't get me wrong, was pretty good, but it did fall to some degree of, I guess I would call it, cliches. And people say how Kylo Ren was just an amazing character. I mean, there's kind of controversy there going into how good he was. I think that if I was doing it again, reviewing this, I would say that Kylo Ren was a really good character, but also a character he did have cliches. He was even stuck in his own degree of yeah, but no, he did really bring his own thing to the character. His degree of just intensity was really nice. Talking about Finn for a sec here, Finn seemed like just a really upbeat character. The comedy did pass over him at points. I also felt that his chemistry was really, really nice with the other characters. Just to say, like, the character they did pick, it felt like a full assembled team that really worked nicely together. It's like not even just picking out a bunch of actors and putting into a situation, which they do a lot these days. It's one of the most annoying things ever. You get a situation where your characters are not bouncing off each other. You just pick them for their high status or their the cliches they could bring to a character. Just assembling a team that really, really works is something that I knew J. Abrams would be looking forward to in this directorial role. So yeah, the team for me, the chemistry there is just wonderful. All the characters play out really nicely. Some big surprises there that I thought were quite good. Definitely one of my favourites was Oscar Isaac, who played, now it's coming out of my head, Poe Dameron, I think his name is. Really good. I think he was one of my favourites. It was either a toss-up between him and, now I'm forgetting my name, toss between him and probably John Driver. I think he's just Adam Driver. He's just a really wonderful actor. So we had a mix of the veterans and the sort of novices actors in this movie. I mean, I was really surprised about just the class that we got. I mean, looking at the trailers, I wasn't expecting much from our, new cast, like talking about, say, Ray, Finn, even possibly, some of the others. But they really worked well with the veteran cast. We had Mark... I'm going to blot that out there. We had Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, both playing their cast respectively. Haven't seen the Star Wars in a long time. I think I've seen clips and stuff from the originals. I haven't really seen the full movies ever, really, but I can tell you that I do recognise them from their original roles. Obviously, they're very recognisable. I think Harrison Ford does a wonderful job. Carrie Fisher, not so much. Just she's not anything like she was in the actual movies. And you can tell that a lot of the chemistry they had once had in their scene is just not there anymore. So that was just a waste. Some of the scenes they had, Harrison Ford was really good. I thought it was quite funny. And he's just, he got back into his role. Seemed a little bit less, obviously he's going to be less into it. But he definitely played it really well, so congrats to him. He obviously isn't that into this whole thing. I mean, he obviously wants to get out of that role immediately, since for the past 30 years he's wanting to kill off Han Solo, sort of the character that you can't keep I mean, he obviously doesn't enjoy it too much, so I give, I understand that he doesn't want to do it anymore, and I give him full respect for that. And okay, we all enjoyed it, but it definitely has time to, he definitely can do what he wants with that character. So I'm not going to give any spoilers, obviously, for the actual thing. If you want spoilers, I'll do a spoiler review after this, but it'll just be a short reaction video here. So, yeah, we had that. I mean, just because it's a big movie like this, I don't really want to spoil it. Some of my big thoughts of the movie. So, we had some other cast that I'm just going to comment on, some of the science. Anyway, my overall thoughts. You can probably hear what I just said there about the main points on the films. The writing was very good. One gripe, of course, I have with the writing is, I'll get to that later, but anyway, the cast. So, yeah, I thought they were very, very strong. I mean, really strong. Just some of the writing, as I told you, was really good, but some other bits, I mean, it also almost felt like we were playing out a very kind of sort of rushed kind of character intros for some of the characters. Obviously, Ray gets a lot of backstory. Finn not so much. But again, Finn just really pulled it out with his exposition from himself, you know, him talking about his whole background. We did kind of feel from that so much about his past, and it seems like the turn that he does take throughout about half of the movie, you know, from the first half to the second half, it's a bit unexpected and almost kind of a movie trope that you really don't want to fall into, but he does eventually fall into. And yeah, it's a repeat, guys. Go watch New Hope, I would recommend, before you see this, because you're going to see a lot of similarities that you wouldn't realise without it. I mean, just some similarities like Luke and the entire plot of this movie. I know getting into this movie, just saying that this was a really good movie doesn't really show my full thoughts on it, so I'm not going to tell you guys this is a movie that you should go in straight away thinking I'm going to come out with the best experience ever, because you're not. You're going to really enjoy this movie, but if you take it for what it is a repeat. It is a really good movie. Is it better than New Hope? Personally, I don't know. I can't really say one way or the other. I almost think that this movie it tried to be its own movie, so that was good. It did go, obviously, you know, show you that it was old Star Wars, but everything else, guys, was different. You will see the similarities, but you'll feel a completely different movie. The whole feel was different. The fan service was there, but it wasn't in bucket loads, so we weren't thrown all these references for no apparent reason. They always kind of linked back to something in the story, so that was nice. It almost had this sort of slick Star Trek feel to it, but it was kind of rough around the edges, if you know what I'm saying. Like, even the dialogue felt real. It didn't feel like, oh, everyone's just getting along for no reason whatsoever. There were reasons behind things. Kylo Ren's backstory was off the wall. Pretty amazing. Well, it wasn't amazing. I was expecting it to be like, I was expecting to feel so much for him. I sort of did in one way, but he almost is a character that you can't take too much to him. He has this remorseful way to him, but it almost makes you hate him even more, if you know what I mean. Really, really brilliant acting. Again, I just love that character so much. I'm actually been mulling over it ahead. I think he is my favourite character. Just looking at him, I think he nearly stole the show. Like, I mean, almost wasn't given enough screen time to steal a show, but he almost did with what he was given. And he always played it really realistically. There was no character here that I felt out of place. Bar, what's her name? Lupita Nyong'o. I cannot remember who she played in this movie. It's some sort of alien. You're gonna hate me for this, that I don't know who it is, but it's a new character, guys. I know a lot of people in this movie. Sometimes when I talk to my friends about it, I kind of forget who it is, and then realize, oh yeah, it's a really famous person. No, it's not. It's just because it was in this one movie, and everyone's expecting me to realize what the hell's going on, and sometimes I just sound like I don't know anything. But anyway, whoever she played, this alien thing they found in a bar somewhere, someone Han Solo is quite familiar with, that was really weird. I don't know what that had to do with anything. It's bizarre. Just that tie into anything, I don't know. Some of the things, like, they could have left out. Well, General Snoke was just a very weak villain, in my opinion. I think if they were going to go with something even more better than that, I think they should have even just pushed the fact that maybe we hear about him, but we don't actually see him, and we might like, and I hear his voice and hear the impact he has on this world, instead of just seeing him. This weird, like, photoshopped alien from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull that we did get. So I mean, whatever his name was, the general guy that we see talking to everybody and ordering everybody around, he was quite good. I would like to see a bit more for him. I just didn't really get an impact that the Empire was trying to give to me. I mean, obviously, bar Kylo Ren, everything just felt like underwhelming. And obviously, I'm not expecting the world from it, but I just never really felt intimidated by the Empire until they blew up planets. But
we know that was going to happen. I mean, it's sort of a retread from all of the original trilogy. We're just given these old throwbacks, and the Emperor was just really weak. And we don't even know, what people are really giving out about. It's like, okay, we have an empire here that clearly, is in charge, but we don't know anything about why or what or how, or this is 30 years down the road, what's going on. I know probably the next movie we're going to give a lot more backstory to that, maybe. I don't know, possibly, but what does this have to do with anything? I'm just confused. The main storyline, yeah, it was relatively good. It was very simple. They have to bring these plans to somewhere else and find Luke Skywalker, played by Mark Hamill. I cannot tell if it's in the movie or not. I will not say it. Yeah, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. I just would have wished that. I wish that there was more. There was a lot on the line, I gotta say. I just wish that. I don't know. There seemed to be a lot on the line in this movie, but we never really saw it. So, I mean, there was these characters that we were introduced to, and fan service and all this, and our storyline, and it's just, guys, I don't know if I'm gonna watch the other Star Wars movies just to tell you guys, it's not fantastic. Like, you can go and say I really enjoyed it, but it don't make a fantastic movie. I think for what it did, it definitely introduced people back into this world, and if you're new to it, you really enjoy this, just because it was exciting. But looking back at it, some things you could just find problems with. It all felt... I've talked to some of my friends about... I mean, most of them enjoyed it, and felt that this was a really, really good movie. And I'm just struggling thinking that this was an amazing movie. I mean, it just missed those things that could have made it amazing. And I don't know what. I mean, the characters were just really good in my opinion. Maybe it was what the material the characters were given it wasn't enough. But I really think it was really good, so I'm not sure what I'm thinking about this movie. I always felt there was not enough on the line. Like, okay, we were given all this great, build up and hopeful payoff, but where was the crux that we were meant to hang on to every line and every word, going, what's going to happen if this doesn't happen in a traditional Star Wars movie where there's so much going on? This movie, it had problems to solve, but it was always gonna run smoothly, and it was quite predictable at parts. I mean, I guessed a lot of stuff that was gonna happen in this movie before I saw the movie, which is not a good thing. I guess you could say it could be a good thing, but now with the major spoiler about this movie, I guessed. I also was kind of disappointed with the ending. The bit before the ending, but yeah, it presented you a lot, guys. But in the end, some of the results that we got were just underwhelming, expected, and it didn't step too far in the box. It always wanted to be a new, cool, great movie, but it didn't go out to to outstand us with new material or just be completely different, off the wall, crazy, great. It could have gone really wrong, which it didn't, so I'm glad that they went with what they went. And it's set up for some great action in the next two movies. And don't get me wrong, I will probably see the next movie like a week after it comes out, and then for the next consecutive couple of weeks talk about it and think about it. So I really think that what it is was successful. The only problem is obviously a new director going into the next one. I'll be discussing this in upcoming videos, but ultimately, guys, I really thought this was a funny movie, moving at points, fun, exciting. The plot was good. Some of our payoff was just off and kind of predictable. And if you're expecting a really, really exciting movie, you're going to get that exactly. You're going to have a good time at the cinema. You're going to enjoy this. You're going to get some throwbacks if you've seen the originals. and you're going to be excited for the next one. Trust me, guys, if you watch this, you will be excited for the next one. They make it so that you have to be. Some of the ending will kind of disappoint a lot of people, but even just for the first act, the first hour of this movie is just a really, really good. Probably the best hour I've seen of any movie in quite a while. From there, it does, take some hits and fall down a couple of rungs on the ladder. But that's not a problem for me, because I'm a big fan, and I'm going to go back and watch the other ones. An inspiring movie, go watch it. If you don't like it, comment below, talk about it. If you do like it, comment below, having a conversation, and we'll see what we think. Thank you guys for watching. This has been me. Star Wars Episode 7, Force Awakens. Big movie, and tell me what you think of it. Bye, see you next time. And subscribe, obviously, if you enjoyed this. Bye, guys.